So I have one question to ask all of you. Will you imprison somebody for a crime where there is no eyewitness to that crime? Well, we do this on a very regular basis in our criminal justice system. And we use lots of different evidence. This evidence is called tracing. Tracers are very important, and so we use them in a lot of different ways, like DNA evidence or sometimes fingerprints, like thumbprints. We use these tracers to understand who may have been there and what they may have done, and sort of recreate a line of thinking or what may have happened, right? In a crime scene, for instance, the police are investigating and they run up some potential suspects. So another question here is, how will the police find the perpetrator who committed the crime? Basically, they will look at their fingerprints. The police can then lead the perpetrator through the crime scene based on their unique fingerprints. The previous analogy allows to vividly capture an idea of what sediment fingerprinting is. A crime scene is analogous to representing the excessive amount of sediment. The fingerprint in the analogy was a thumbprint, whereas in sediment fingerprinting, it is a unique property, like sediment color or geochemistry, for example. The rundown of potential suspects is analogous to identifying the potential sources of sediment, or where the sediment will be coming from, leading to a better environmental management from the previous analogy of the person who went to justice. This is exactly the same thing we do when we try to identify and characterize potential sources of sediment. Similar procedures can be applied to identify or characterize sediment sources, and so determine how they could vary across different land uses. However, there is currently no standard approach to characterizing potential sources, as different approaches to sampling sources of sediment have not been well evaluated and are a continuous issue. So one way to know how fingerprint properties vary across the landscape is to first determine a reliable and efficient sampling campaign. With my research, this is the way. I'm comparing 3 sampling approaches: grid, transect, and judgment sampling in characterizing soil, geochemical, and color fingerprints across forest and agricultural land uses. So far, what I found is that the importance of a sampling approach varies with respect to both the sediment fingerprint properties and land uses. Similarly, geostatistical analysis demonstrate that some properties show a strong spatial parent, while others did not. For this reason, determining the provenance of sediments is of vital importance for watershed and environmental management. And better source sampling designs will improve the robustness and reliability of agroenvironmental research, including sediment fingerprinting studies. If we continue to take care of our environment, this will be a reality. Thank you.